Hey, everybody, Namaste. It's Becca Pati. So nice to spend a little bit of time with you today. I am excited. Why? Because we're together. It is so great to have a community of like-minded people jumping on board to inspire and also to do a little bit of yoga. So this is a short little chit chat, and then at the end of it, you can proceed on to the quick 20-minute Vinyasa session, or you can just shut this down and get your daily inspiration by Becca. It is whatever works for you. Okay, so the word of the day is FLAWSOME. Now, I did not coin this phrase. I did not make it up. It is not mine. It is not a Becca-ism, but I did see it on a Google search when I was looking for funny inspirational quotes. And I personally don't actually find it that funny, but I understand why it's on there. And that's to give the definition of this. So FLAWSOME is a person or an individual who embraces their flaws, but still knows they are awesome anyway. FLAWSOME. And I think what a beautiful way to live. I have been through those highs and lows, as I'm sure you have as well, when you're really beginning to uncover your truth. And part of our truth is not like always how magnificent we are and like how our talents and skills and like the beautiful journey that's ahead of us and like how we connect with people, you know, all that kind of good stuff. The uncovering process of understanding who we are and becoming a healthy, balanced individual is to also recognize that we have flaws. No, absolutely not. There's no way I have flaws. Yes, and I have many. And that's not to degrade anything that I am in life or how I feel about myself, but that is the point. I feel flawsome. If I was to admit to myself, which I do on a regular basis, the things that I want to work on, it is important to know that yes, I am going to work on those. Yes, I am doing my best, but I'm also recognizing that there are things that are literally sort of like part of my DNA. So let me give you an example. I struggle with anger. Now, not so much now, but anger used to be a primary emotion for me because it was all mixed up in a lot of different things like passion and creativity, and I didn't have outlets for things, and I didn't feel seen and heard. So then I kind of got this bubbly feeling of like, just like scream everything out. And so once in a while, now the work has been done and it will continue to be worked on, but there are times still as an adult, like as a fucking adult, I end up raising my voice or getting like more than irritated. You know what I mean? Because there is a situation or a person or a scenario that just makes you go, and hey, I have to be okay with that. Because it also shows up in magnificent ways. You know, in order for me as a person to be able to do what I do, I need to have a tremendous amount of fire, which works with inspiration and creativity and all those positive stuff that we love to talk about. But the fact is, I've become okay recognizing that I have my flaws. And again, it's not that we're not going to work on those things, but we're going to embrace, take that word embrace actually is very descriptive when you think about it. You're going to hug. Yeah, I got to close my eyes when I hug. You know, that's how intensely we want to hug it out. We want to hug onto our flaws, on the things that we know that are not perfect. And yep, other people might point them out, and that's okay. Those people, if they're constantly doing that, we can let them go, or we can say, yes, I do have those flaws and I am working on them, and I recognize how important it is to move through the things that we need to. However, I probably will always have a bit of an anger issue. I will probably always be highly triggered, have some kind of like passion that dives out inside of me. And hey, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with being passionate and loving and like super fucking fierce. That is okay with me. And I will always work on my anger. That's very, very important. I'm not going to stop loving myself. I'm just not. It's not worth it to me. That would be basically drinking poison constantly every day for my soul. I will not live in hate, disgust, ich for self. Not gonna happen. So today's flow, please feel free to continue watching or doing the practice, or certainly shutting this off if that's where you're at today. But just know that you have it all inside of you to become FLAWSOME, is that recognition of where you're at, the shit that you're working on, and being proud that you've actually acknowledged your flaws, because honestly, a lot of people don't. There's like a delusion about themselves, right? And so this is how fucking awesome you are. You're sitting with your stuff and you're working on it. That's pretty rock star. So you keep going. All right, for those of you who are following me in our Vinyasa, this is going to be a quick kind of fiery flow for those who are interested in jumping on their mats. So here we go. Namaste. All right, for those of you who are joining, I'm going to set my camera up a little bit differently here. Okay, so I was just sitting on a little bit of a cushion there. So let's come up to the top of our mats and take our feet nice and wide so that our toes are as wide as our mats. And then take an inhale, up the arms go. Exhale, take a sit down, squat it down. Nice, inhale, fire it back up, reach your arms open to the side, palms up, look up if you like. Exhale, sit it down, Malasana, garland pose. Nice, getting into digestion in the low back. You got this. Again, inhale, rise it up, palms to touch possibly above the head, look up. Exhale, sit it down. Yes, hold it out here, lift your heart. Let your knees squeeze your inner thighs into your upper arms, and your upper arms will press back into the inner knees. So see how that feels. So one more big inhale, you're here. And as you exhale, take your fingertips to the floor, go forward fold, let your feet straighten out a little bit so that they are in line with the outer edges of your mat. Now just take a little bit of a side to side movement, rocking it. Now I am extremely tight because I have run 8 days in a row and haven't taken too much of a break. However, if you're feeling really loosey-goosey, you can hang on to your ankles and drop in a little bit deeper. It's kind of whatever feels good for you. And then eventually take your fingertips in between your feet. Take a step back with your left foot to the back of the mat, all the way there. Take your back knee down to the floor. Flare your right knee open. So if you haven't done my classes before, I mirror you, which means, yes, it is technically my left leg, but it is your right leg. So we are all moving in the same direction. All right? Your left hand grounds down, right hand to your knee, press it open, look over to the right and lift the gaze. Then exhale, bring that to a close and drop almost into a bit of an angry cat. Inhale, flare your knee open, look up, possibly letting the whole back open. Exhale, round, tuck your chin, looking at your belly button or your back thigh. Last time. Inhale, let your heart expand, the opening and closing. Exhale, bring everything back to the midline. Hold it out here. Walk your hands to the inside edge of your front foot. Tuck your toes under, step it back, upper push-up position. Your hands need to widen. Go ahead and do that. Exhale, chaturanga or the floor. Rise it into upward dog cobra. Open your heart. And exhale, take yourself back into a downward facing dog. Rooting down your hands, feeling your ears in between your upper arms. So if you are wanting to go longer, soften your knees so that your bum is pressing to the back of the room, not to the ceiling. Think more length, not dropping your head down to the floor. That's very hangy and really tough on the shoulders long term. Come forward into an upper push-up position. Hold here. Take your right knee and tap right elbow. Bring it across to the left. Send it to three-limb dog. Up and around we go. Up, up, up. The right leg goes. Send the knee towards the ceiling while your toes are pointing towards the left-hand side. Yeah, see how that feels, opening up the heart space, go longer, press into your fingertips, press your back heel further to the floor, then gaze forward again, right foot goes all the way up to the top of the mat. Beautiful, inhale, wave your arms up to the ceiling, crescent lunge. Yeah, doing great. Palms come all the way to touch into the heart space, take your back foot flat, and open this up into a warrior. Keep your knee open, be safe through your front, hip, and knee, and sit it down. We're getting right at it. Inhaling, holding here. Nice, straightening up through your front thigh, turn your toes in, interlocking your hands, so making sure you got equal distance from the edge of your mat to your toes. So I was just doing that with my back foot. And exhale, come into a forward fold. Arms reaching up and away. Let the heart open. Feeling the contraction of the belly every time you exhale. Pressing into the base of the toes rather than just the heels. Holding here for 3. Beautiful. Holding here for 2. Hello. And then for 1, bring your hands to the low back. Let your fingertips come down to the floor. Turn your back toes to kind of a 45. So those are your left toes. Let your heel come in and sink. Allow your hips to drop further to the back of the back heel and your right toes kick up. Can you see that? Yeah? And then eventually take your right fingertips forward, left elbow bends, and like you're pushing your left knee open. Now maybe you use your hands or maybe you choose not to. Make this as sort of graceful or not. Stepping your right foot to the floor. Allow your right arm to press the inner thigh. Switch it up. Switch it up. Again, switch it up. Going to your depth. See how that feels? We've got 1 more on either side. Here we go. Yeah. And bring it all the way towards the front. Hold. Hands to the floor. Come back into a wide-legged forward fold. Walk your hands forward. We're taking a little jump into a toe stand in the center of the mat. So bring your shoulders over your wrists and eventually lift up and then come on down. So we'll walk the toes in, the knees come together. You can step it in, of course, as well. There's no, like, who cares, right? Bring your hands into and onto your knees. Rolling open so there's confidence because the core is drawn in, the heart is open, we are okay with self. We're sitting in this moment of reflection, finding the little toe balance for 3. Opening up your arms for 2. Take your right fingertips to the floor. Whoop, side bend towards the front of your mat. Very little pressure there, please. Then open up your arms again. And take your left fingertips to the floor. Your right ones send themselves to the back of the mat. Beautiful. Slowly start to open this all the way back up. Hold it out here. And then slowly open up your knees. Let's go into a version of Malasana. Toes together, heels up, hands to the back side of your ankles. Dropping the crown of your head close to the floor without actually touching it down. So notice if you can hover here for 3. Hover here for 2. And then for 1, bring your palms to the floor. Lean into them, little jump back out. Walk yourself all the way around. Eventually, let's step it back into an upper push-up position with an extended right leg. Exhale, chaturanga or floor. Rise it into upward dog cobra. You're doing great. And take it into downward facing dog. Pausing here for 3. Holding it out for 2. And then for 1, you'll take the gaze forward, take a little hop, step, jump to the top of the mat. Inhaling up. And slowly exhale, forward fold. Come up to standing. Palms to touch. And your hands come all the way into the heart space. You're doing amazing. Inhale, open this up. Exhale, forward fold. All right, eventually inhale to a half lift. Peace fingers to floor, hands to shins. Now take your fingertips down, lean on them, and just kind of let your feet come up to the side. Eventually step back with your right foot to the back of the mat. Back knee comes down. Everyone with me? Love it. So have your right hand underneath your shoulder or a little bit wider. And then you can point away your back toes. As you inhale, let your heart come back from your front thigh. Exhale, bring it in, round and curl. Like variation cat-cow. Inhale, send that heart away from your front thigh. Yes, exhale, curl it. Last time. Inhale, open this all the way up, up, up. And then exhale, let's drop it back and pause it out here. Then eventually taking your gaze forward, hands to the inside of your foot, tuck your back toes under. Eventually send yourself all the way back into 3-limb dog. So up and back we go. Beautiful. Take your knee towards the upper left arm. Take it towards the right arm. back into three-limb dog, and then move this to hydrant. Away we go. Take your toes, pull them over towards the right-hand side. Holding here for 3, holding here for 2. Open up your chest a little bit further, then look forward. Take your left foot and step it all the way up to the top of the mat. Squeeze your inner thighs and rise your arms high. Settle into this shape. Maybe you take your left foot over a bit further, your back leg is long, your core is pulled in. So this is not gymnastics. We are not in a huge back bend here. That can actually put a lot of pressure on low back, your low back. So really pull in your rib cage. Think about breathing longer so that your breath has a long tube, like from your throat all the way down to your pubic bone. You are breathing in that space. Palms come to touch, back foot goes flat. Open this up, warrior 2. Your chest is facing right, your arms are open up. Yeah, sitting down low. Beautiful. For 3, you got this. And then for 2. Nice. Then for 1, straighten up through your front thigh. Turn your toes towards the right. Take that little look down. Exhale, your hands will come down towards the floor. Inhale, open up your heart a little bit. See how you feel. And exhale, palms down, and you'll walk them in between your feet. Now, for some of you who have shorter hamstrings, bend your knees a little bit or stay on your fingertips, that's fine. If you can work yourself into chaturanga arms, meaning elbow over top of your wrist, push your hands forward like you're trying to drop the crown of your head towards the floor. Stay in the fronts of your feet rather than just the heels, holding here. Now, for some of you who have a little bit more ambition in your practice, you can drop the crown of your head down towards the floor. I'm just going to pull myself a little bit back here, making sure that your head is maybe on something a bit softer than just a hardwood floor. You can start dropping your head down towards the earth, tucking your chin, and then solid through the palms. Maybe you have to get your knees bent, or you can lift straight up. Eventually, wherever you are, you'll land your toes over top of your hips. Holding here for 3, holding here for 2, holding here for 1, then maybe you widen out your legs, but take it slow. Come down as you see fit. Maybe you just did a teddy bear stand, knees on the upper arms. Inhaling, lengthen up, half lift. I'm going to move myself back onto the mat here. Here we go. Eventually, exhaling, taking your right fingertips forward, sending your left one up to the ceiling, then wrap your top arm around, so maybe it goes to the inner thigh, or hand to the low back. All right, then eventually start shifting over to your back foot, which is your right one. Walk your right hand with you and turn up those toes and hang out. Holding here, maybe your back heel is down, maybe it's lifted, dropping in for 3. Holding here for 2, woo! For 1, drop down your left foot, take the twist. Take left fingertips forward, right ones go up. Your hand wraps all the way around, maybe tucks to the inseam of your left inner thigh. Turn your toes out and start to walk towards your left foot, turning your back toes up. So drop in, getting the hip flexors, the low back, lengthening out your chest and through the side body for 3. Holding here for 2. And then for 1, bring yourself all the way back to center. Heels out, always toes in, walk forward, just enough that you can hammock this out. So your arms come out wide, maybe your feet start to elongate wider, and we send our head to the floor. Now this is not what your downward dog should look like. Downward dog is a much stricter pose. So this is for the opening of the armpits, see where you go, letting your head relax if that's even possible. Holding here for 3. Holding here for 2. And then for 1, you're walking yourself all the way back upright. Inhaling. Open up your arms, flare here for 3. You got this. Really strong. A little cobra back for 2. And then for 1, take your hands down, walk yourself around, step it up to the top of the mat. Inhale, peace fingers to floor, hands to shins. Exhale, forward fold. Nice. Come up high onto your toes. Settle your bum down to your heels. Now we were here before, right? We were here in the setting of palms to touch facing the left. Now we're forward. You have your options. Stay here. If you want to take this into a crow, that is fine. So let your knees open up, hands to the floor. Eventually, let your knees come up. Let your bum be a bit more buoyant. Hold here. The knees to the upper arm, lean forward. Eventually, you'll take both of your feet up. Pull your knees, pull your feet up. Squeeze your perineum. Exhale, feel like you're still looking forward. One more big inhale. Take your right foot to the floor only. Then left leg goes back into a crescent lunge. Inhaling, reaching that arm up. Or I should say a half moon. Honestly, some of these poses, they just sort of flow into one another, hey? So holding here for 3. Holding here for 2. And then for 1, take both your hands down, both your feet down. Inhaling, half lift. Exhaling, forward fold. Beautiful. Again, hands to the floor, knees to your upper arms. You can simply work on your crow by holding it here. One foot comes up, then the other. You eventually lower the other one down. You can also lean forward and go for it. Both feet come up and in. Pressing into the fingertips. Up, up, up we go. It's almost like you're umbrella-ing your upper and mid back. Then eventually left foot comes down. Ardha Chandrasana. Open this up. I am sweating. Wow, my condo is hot. And then as we open up the heart a little bit for 3, holding here for 2, maybe roll that top shoulder back a little bit more. And then eventually both feet again come down to the top of the mat. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, forward fold. All right. Eventually up on your toes, your bum comes back down. Now we're walking our hands back into a reverse tabletop. So here we go. Maybe you keep your bum elevated. Yeah, walk it back. Widen the feet out enough, but your knees and feet feel like they are contracting against a block. As you elevate up, your shoulders roll back. Take your right leg, kick it straight forward. Take the ankle on the top side of the upper left knee, hold here. Lift your hips up higher. And then slowly lower down. Maybe you walk your left foot forward, turning your hands the other direction. Right, so now the fingertips are facing the back of the room. Roll your shoulder blades back and let your heart come towards your right upper shin. So you're feeling that movement forward, getting into your right hip. Yeah, see how that feels. Nice. Holding here for 3. Good. Holding here for 2. Awesome. And then eventually you'll take your hands, turn them forward for support. Drop your feet back down to the floor. Press your bum back so now your toes are face up. Take your toes together. Right hand sweeps up. Drop it back behind you. Option, take your knee to the floor or full modified side plank or side plank. Facing right. Nice. One more big inhale. And as you exhale, slowly let your bum come down to the floor. This time, you will either bend your knees or keep your legs straight into Purvottanasana. Hands come back behind you, so this looks like a full reverse push-up. Fingertips are facing forward, roll back. Inhale, maybe part way. Yeah. Otherwise, you roll back and you elevate up. Yes, and the point is, who cares if your feet actually touch down? This is part of FLAWSOME, is to recognize how awesome we are in the midst of not being perfect. This is it. Who cares? And then eventually, you'll walk in your right foot, let your left leg expand, ankle goes on top of the knee, and hold it here. So now your left leg is on top. Lower your bum down to the floor. I am hot. And then spin your fingertips to the back of the room and come forward. It's actually rained a lot here in Edmonton, Canada, and it's, yeah, just, you can feel the humidity, right? So, yeah, certainly feeling that right now. All right, so you're here for 3. you're almost kind of pressing the outer edge of your foot into the top side of your right thigh, and then that way you can feel a little bit more contraction or release, depending on kind of how you're looking at it, in your left hip. Yeah. And then you'll eventually lean back. Fingertips can face forward for a moment. Both of your feet come out. Then your left arm sweeps up. Bring it back behind you. You can either take your left knee to the floor or start to spin and reach open your right hand to the ceiling. Holding here for 3. Holding here for 2. And then for 1, you'll slowly let your bum come all the way back down to the floor. Both your feet come out. Inhale, rise your arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, roll up. Lengthen your arms high. Hands come right next to your hips. So I'm going to turn to the side so you can see this. Your hands will either go right next to your hips or behind you, and you'll know right away, okay? So if you have a little bit more accessibility to a lift of your bum, your hands can go here. Otherwise, you'll find that you can tuck your bum with your hands behind you, okay? So as you're holding it out here, your feet are flexed and you lift up. And then come back down. Good, do it again. Come back up. And then come down. Good, one more time. Come back up. Hold here for 3. Yeah, you've got this. Hold here for 2. Strong, strong, strong. One more big breath in. And then eventually you'll settle your bum down towards the earth, allowing both of your feet to come close, letting your knees open up into Baddha Konasana. So Baddha Konasana is bound angle pose. Holding onto your ankles, your feet, inhale, lengthen up, and exhale, drop in. Giving yourself some room to feel the crown reaching towards the front of the mat. Again, this is not a pose where we definitely want to look in the mirror and go, yeah, I'm killing it. Actually, in fact, most of us look a little bizarre in this pose, right? So it's okay. Just like, how does this feel? Am I getting what I need out of this? Maybe you need a bit more softness today. Maybe you need a little bit more assertiveness. And then you'll roll your spine coming all the way back up, just taking your right leg in front, left leg behind. Inhale, both arms lift, and exhale, take yourself into a spiral twist. Nice, not holding here long. You're coming towards the hands to the floor. Lean over your right thigh and then walk around to forward and allow your head to hang out for a few moments here. Letting go of any type of feeling of I did this, I didn't do that. These are all judgments, and honestly, judgments of good and bad, they really do not help our growth whatsoever. It is really important that as human beings on a path of enlightenment and higher consciousness, and even just elevating who we are or working towards our better self, that we don't judge, that we just observe, we become aware of, and then shift accordingly, right? And then walk ourselves all the way back. Lean back, Navasana, so you've got your options. Your feet can come up. Maybe you release, hold here for 3. Hold here for 2. For 1, take your left leg in front. Inhale, your arms lift, and then you're taking that spiral twist, yeah. One more big inhale, you're here. And then eventually you'll come all the way forward, walking yourself out a little bit and bringing yourself down into your forward fold shape. Beautiful. Walking your hands all the way back upward. Let's do one more Navasana. Let's end this on an awesome, strong, powerful note. Inhale, reach those legs up as high as possible for you for 3. Holding here for 2. And then for 1, bend your knees and hug yourself all the way in. Now, obviously, I'm a huge fan of practicing cool downs and doing some type of Shavasana. I feel like that's something you can kind of do on your own if that's a little bit where you're at today, just kind of taking this quick practice and then moving it into more relaxation, or jumping on another video and going where you see fit. But here's the thing. During the class, I wanted to call one of the poses FLAWasana or FLAWasana. And so it was really funny to me because we're talking about FLAWSOME, yet at the same time, I think in our asana practice or our physical movement of yoga, we get so caught up in being perfect or having the right movements or being that handstand practitioner or doing those things that, you know, make us feel great. And honestly, there's nothing wrong with going for it however you see fit, but I'm telling you, that does not a yoga person make. What makes a person be true to themselves is not how you practice physically. It's how you live your life. It's recognizing that if you have flaws, others do too. And that gives us an opportunity then for what? For compassion. And I think that that's so beautiful, is looking around and recognizing that we don't have to have these huge expectations for people. We can allow them to be faulty as well, but it has to start with ourselves. So I hope you enjoyed the flow today. Love you so much, my friends, and we will see you very soon. Yeah, take care. Namaste.